Hi guys. Hey, what's up, babe? Oh, you're here. That's awesome. Thank you for watching my live. um, all right, so I see you, Johnny. Guys, thank you for joining us. Today I have Johnny Mchone on. He does a lot of stop motion, and he is an animator. Hold on, let me see how I'm supposed to pull you in. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna pull you in right now. Where are you at, Johnny? Oh, there you are. Okay. All right. So he does stop motion. He does stop motion for Robot Chicken. If you guys obviously are familiar with them. Um,
Hello?
and it does. Hi.
Hi.
Hi
I
again.
made it. Yes.
I know. Thank you for coming on. This is your first time doing a live? Any kind of live?
Yeah. I mean, I need to do it more. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. You guys can hear him okay? I'm sure. It would get a little delayed on the comments, but hopefully we get a good connection and everything.
Cool.
So first of all, I want to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. I dabbled in a little stop motion, so I'm pretty excited about this. I watch Robot Chicken a lot. It sometimes I can't watch it because it gets so, sometimes I'm like, stop.
Yeah, it gets
Like,
pretty weird. It gets pretty raunchy. It gets pretty political. It gets
yeah.
pretty silly, but man, it's so much fun to work on. So.
I definitely am the type of person I don't like when you I don't like taking myself too seriously.
Mhm.
So this is definitely one of those shows. If you take things too seriously, it's not for you.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I think we've had people like leave because they didn't want to work on that show. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that works for you.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, so let's go through the basics. How long have you been doing stop motion?
Uh, so I've been doing stop motion with Robot Chicken for about 4 or 5 years. I think 5 years. Before that, I was doing freelance stuff, music videos and things like that. And before that, I was doing animations on Vine. So I did a lot of Vines, and that kind of got me back into stop motion because I kind of stopped a long time ago. I started when I was like 16, and just it was like a fun little hobby, squishing things and playing
It's
with
funny that you
Legos.
mentioned Vine because my friend, his name's Celis Bex on here, and he's from
Oh, cool.
TikTok, which was taken over by Vine. And I've been
Yeah.
doing a lot of stuff on TikTok. Did you ever transfer over to that, or you just assumed
No.
after Vine left, you were like done?
Well, I kind of started pursuing bigger things as I was doing Vine. So I started applying for Robot Chicken like a couple years before Vine kind of like died.
Yeah.
So, I was really sad, but I was kind of already like trying to move forward and just do bigger things, and I just didn't really get any uh, good vibes from other apps, and so I haven't really tried too many things, but I'd like to give it a shot, but it just I don't know, I haven't had too much time
Yeah,
these days.
it's like a up and down thing. I think I've been trying to do lives on there, and I get suspended every single day.
No.
Literally every day I've gotten suspended. I'll go 24 hours, my live comes back, and then like that live, like something will happen. I'll say like the wrong thing. I said Harry Potter, and
Oh,
they shut me down right away, like stuff like that. So it's a really touchy thing. It's just for videos and stuff. I was just curious because I saw Vine. I'm like, oh, I wonder if he knows because been TikToking like crazy. But you said so you've been doing it since you were 16, right?
yeah. I mean, I've been drawing cartoons my whole life. Before I started doing stop motion, it was mostly drawing cartoons and making comics. Um, when I got like a webcam, there was a program called Lego Studios, and it was kind of like an early stop motion program where you could, it was like iMovie, but with Legos, and you can put things and sound effects and stuff like that. So it was really fun, and then that program kind of became obsolete, and then I just went back to drawing cartoons. Um, Even before Vine, my first animation job moving to LA was Mr. Pickles, and it's like a 2D Adult Swim cartoon.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy as well. So
So is that still on? I saw that on Hulu. I was gonna check it out because I love pickles, so I figured I should do that.
Yeah, I mean, check it out. It's kind of like Lassie, but he's kind of a little on the dark side.
Oh, so
Um,
Mr. Pickles isn't an actual pickle. Just so you guys know, I do
no.
see your comments. Cell Specs, I absolutely love you. TikTok is a very positive app. Depends on how you use it for sure. Yeah, I try to stay up to date, so you don't have to worry about the comments. I'll try to get through it.
Okay,
And I'll
cool.
let you know, so you don't have to worry about that. Thank you, Antique Gaming. So it's not even about it's not a pickle. It's just it's an animal.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Pickles is a dog, and
Oh,
he
okay.
kind of it's a very Adult Swim like dark humor show. So it's you don't want to watch it at work. It's not for kids, but it's pretty funny. So I started doing that, and they're like the nicest people I've ever worked with. The two creators, they're just really nice guys, and the whole team. So it's I would definitely go back to that, but I'm playing with toys now. So
I see you have a lot of toys. You are a toy collector, which is awesome because everybody,
yeah.
most people here are. Um, I saw a lot of your videos where you use stop motion. Now, the stop motion that you have on your YouTube, you do have a YouTube. I saw you've been
Mhm.
posting lately. Like I think the last one was a few months ago.
Yeah, I've
Um,
been crazy busy, so I apologize to all my watchers out there. But Robot Chicken's just been like taking my soul right now in the good way. But I'm gonna be
yeah,
getting back. I've got some uh, big things I want to do. So, but
and those videos up there. Those are strictly just your videos that you post for your own, for just for you,
yeah,
right? Your
they're just for fun. I'm not getting paid for those, so it's like they take a while just because it's on my free time. But I have so much fun doing it because I'll get the toy, I'll pre-order it, like a year in advance, and then get it, and then I'll have the idea just stir in my head just for like months what I want to do with different things, and oh, I need this character for this sequence, and I can't wait to get this character, and they could have a cool little fight or interaction. So uh, it's really fun,
Now, one thing
especially
on
when
your
something.
YouTube that I really liked, and you only had a couple on there, but they are pretty recent, is the reviews that you did. They're very
Mhm.
short. I have ADD, so it's really hard for me to, I really, no, I seriously do. It is hard for me to focus on a video longer than a minute. And your reviews are really short. You show the articulation on there. I thought those were really cool. So I hope you do like some of those in the future. I will definitely just
Well, yeah.
specifically look at them because you have a specific use for them as well. I mean, when it comes to articulation and maneuverability, you are definitely the type of person to do that kind of review because you specifically do it for that purpose. So you're looking at an aspect where you're going to use it, and a lot of people find those aspects really, important. So
Mm.
I really like those. Just putting it out there. Hopefully, you do a little bit more. Obviously,
No,
you can't do it all
definitely.
the time, but
Yeah, I
it's definitely
wanted.
something.
I want to branch out to other brands too. I don't want to do just Dragon Ball. So I've got some other things as well in case anybody is interested. But that wasn't. I know a lot of people do toy reviews, so it's not like an original idea. I like
No,
to
but the
show.
way you did it is definitely original.
I appreciate that. I'd like to, like you said, show what people are looking for. I like to look for these certain things of how a character can move, how smooth his head is, and the arms, and different expressions and stuff like that.
And how you
Um,
present it too. It really it caters to my ADD because I'm just
cool.
like watching it and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I like to add jokes in there and make it kind of true to the character. Like the kid Goku, he's really goofy, so it was really just kind of fun just bouncing him around and just him doing stupid stuff because it made sense.
Yeah.
But I've got friends out in Taiwan, the animation studio Counter 656. They do a lot of like toy reviews, and I went out there and worked with them for a month, and they showed me how they did their stuff, and I showed them how I did my stuff, and we kind of like collaborated for a little bit, and we both kind of learned from each other. So they definitely inspired me to do a lot of these toy reviews too. But um, it's a lot of fun. I need to get back into it, but also
Yeah.
it breaks my wallet. So hopefully I can get some like donate it or something.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, if I was a toy company, I'd definitely pay you to do one of my reviews for sure. That's if I didn't suck. So if I sucked, I probably wouldn't want you to. But you know, like if you got some good articulation, I definitely. I mean, it's a short video. It's cool. I like it.
Cool.
So you've been doing this for, you said when you were 16 you started. How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking? I think
32.
now you're a guy. You should suck it up. How old are you?
32.
32. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've been doing it for a really long time.
Yeah.
I saw your first
that's crazy.
video on YouTube, and that one, it was I like the Monster Truck one, the NASCAR Monster Truck one that we did. That one was hilarious. I feel like I want to send that to anybody who likes NASCAR just to be an asshole. I think that's what I want to do. But comparing, I think it was the first video I did was in 2009, I believe. How do you feel you've changed and evolved since then?
Oh man, I mean, certainly equipment has changed. My eye for the cameras kind of changed. The animations, got a little bit smoother. It's less choppy. I just kind of figured out these weird technical difficulties and quirks that just work better now. I mean, working on Robot Chicken, they've taught me so much of just kind of classic animation. So all these things that I've done are just kind of basic rules that I'll apply, like ease in and ease out, kind of when you have a character slow down. So it's, big move, tiny move, tiny move, tiny move. So it's like this, you're kind of smoothing out all the corners. So it's just kind of weird animation stuff. But I love seeing the old videos and just thinking like, what was I thinking? And this is so silly because they're so simple, and I don't make as much time as I did back then for those, because a lot of those things were filmed on my phone, or they were actually filmed on my iPad. Like I didn't have an iPhone for a while, so I would wedge an iPad in my desk and just kind of point it down and do these little kind of like micro animations. So they're like with micro machines and like little HO scale figures. And I would just use clay and fake grass and just do really derpy stuff. I'll have to send you a video of, I've got some animation even before 2009, before I posted on YouTube. That's when I was, 16. So this was a while ago. But yeah, I didn't really get into YouTube too much until I started wanting to tell the Toys vs. Toys story. So all the stuff before that is just really silly. So appreciate you watching.
I saw it and I was like, but like I see it, and when I try it, I mean, I did it all on my phone, and but I saw yours and I'm like, that looks really good. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I'm like, okay, well, I know that it's not, mine's not really that great, and I have it was just for fun, but I know a lot of people. I think I'm going to pin this question. I'm going to get to your question too, sell specs, okay? Okay. But I do have a question for you later on, after we kind of recap on how you've evolved. You said that you look at it now, and since you've been working with other people and working for these other companies, it's really changed the way you've learned a lot from it, from other animators as well. Do you get to work with a lot of animators, or these things that you do mainly just by yourself?
We all work by ourselves, but we all inspire each other. Like before Robot Chicken, Vine was so exciting because I would get to see other animators and other creators trying new things, kind of breaking boundaries, just being able to film it on their phone. Like before you could upload videos on Vine, like they were all made within Vine. So the whole first half of Toys vs. Toys, the first video is all like made within the app. So I didn't really like upload things for like a long time. So other people would be doing mind-blowing stuff, like hand-drawn animation, paper animation, hand-cut animation, things like that. So you would see other people do something, and you're like, I want to try something like that. And you wouldn't do the same thing, but you'd kind of push yourself to try new things. And at the studio now, it's the same kind of way. You're working with other people. You all kind of have to animate at the same kind of style depending on the show. Like Robot Chicken they just want you to get the toys to go around, but they have a lot of actual like puppets. So you have to kind of animate in a certain kind of cartoony style. But we all learn from each other. The director will tell you kind of what to do. He'll give you advice, pointers, say, hey, you kind of did this a little wrong, maybe slow it down next time. So.
Okay. Also, so when you do it, usually, they give you how is it on your creativity level? Do they give you a script of what to do, or is this pretty much they give you a subject to do and you do it? I mean, how specific, how much of your creativity is into this? I mean, obviously there's a lot of creativity, but how much leeway do you get when you're working for a company like that?
So depending on the show, it's all written in a script, and then it's all kind of drawn out. The guys will storyboard each scene. I've got a few pictures here. So this is like from Super Mansion. You guys ever watch that show? There's just a tail added on. So basically, we kind of plan out each scene that we want to do. They'll make that into kind of video form, like a video comic, and then the animation assistants will take that video, take the audio, put the audio into the animation program, and then type out all the words that the characters need to say. The directors will give us direction that say, hey, this character needs to walk in and say hello. So I have to plan ahead, like at least when the character steps at this point, he says hello. And on the animation program, it has all the words listed out and how long each vowel is. And so it's really kind of intricate with the voice. So if you have a really long speech with the character, everything has to be typed out, like every vowel. So if the word is really long, like like Instagram, you have to type in Instagram, and so you're switching all the different mouths. And so we've got different mouth shapes.
And those go onto your characters when you do the animation.
Well, these are for Robot Chicken. Like this is our specific brand, but
okay.
I do the same thing for my videos, but I digitally add them on in the computer. So it's same thing, but Robot Chicken, they like that kind of derpy, cartoony style with mouths. So
kind of like Gumby. They like it to be all
it's all natural.
Yeah, it's what is that? When it's all there rather than digitally put in.
More like analog, I guess you would say. I really like doing that. And as far as freedom, they'll kind of, depending on what needs to happen, they'll let us have a little bit of freedom. We do have to kind of follow the story and make sure everything hits the right points. But if a character's head blows up, I get to
make the blow up part.
Do all the fun stuff and where things go. So it's
the
really
one
great.
where you had the guy in the fight and it had that smokes. I thought that was really cool. How you just kind of had the stuff kind of slowly come out, and those are really cool. And you would you watch it on TV, and you don't realize how much work would be put into these little skits. I mean, the skits are usually about how long?
An episode of Robot Chicken is 11 minutes, but they want us to animate about 10 seconds a day. So it takes, a few months to just make an episode. So it's but once it takes a while once we get things rolling, but we kind of are working on different episodes all at the same time.
It's different skits, right? A skit, one bit, different bit put together.
And they'll plan ahead, where, if we got a beach scene, we'll film all the stuff on the beach, as fast, all that time. And then we'll film as many scenes on a city scene, and we'll do that so that we're not kind of constantly having to reset up all these locations. So a lot of things are kind of out of order, but we have the video animatic of the story. So we always kind of reference your main story. So it's really always just comes down to, following the story. And I try and take a lot of these same things with my own work, especially filming things. So I'm able to do things a little bit faster by, kind of planning ahead, doing all the close-ups first, doing the wide shots. And sometimes I'll save the fun fighting scenes for the end. It's just because I'm get all the boring stuff out of the way, and then let's really focus on these cool sequences. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you do the set, so the setup is the background and stuff. I know sometimes, I know with some of the stuff that you did on your own, you probably, it looked like you used a green screen. But the diorama part, are those things that you use? Are those you, or do they have a set that they specifically have for those things that you have to do?
Um, well, here at my studio, I create everything. Fabricate, trees and grass, and I create the setting. I like make ships, and I'll like kind of trick angles. So if a character is coming out of something, I'll just have like a black strip, and I'll kind of like walk down it, and I'll add smoke effects after. But for Robot Chicken, we have some green screen stuff, but a lot of stuff is really just handcrafted by a whole
And
art department. So
oh, okay, so
yeah.
those things are tangible stuff that their backgrounds are their backgrounds, and they
hmm
specifically want you to use those backgrounds. It's not something where they give you something and you have to make your own background.
Yeah, no, it's when I'm at Robot Chicken, I'm strictly there just for animation. Like we've got a whole art department, we have a whole puppet department that creates all the characters. We have a whole costume department that sews all the tiny clothes. We have a visual effects department that does all the visual effects. We have 3D printing that prints some of the hands and like faces and heads, stuff like that. So it's a big, massive thing. So when it comes down to animation, they spend all this time setting up the sets, and then they have the lighting guys come in and they light everything to make it look just cinematic. And then once everything's kind of set up, the directors and I will come in and we'll kind of talk about what they want, and then they'll leave me alone for like 8 hours.
Okay,
So,
that's awesome.
and we're all in like different, not like cubicles, but it's in kind of like a big warehouse, and each like stage is kind of curtained off, and the set we work on kind of comes up to your chest, like a little bit below your chest. And so when you're working with the characters, you're not stressing your arms up or down or like leaning down on a table. So you're kind of in this own little area with just your set. And so we've got about 22 different sets at the studio. And so on each set, there's something different going on, and different animators working on something. So it's crazy, but it's everything's going on at the same time, but it's all slow. We're all doing it at a different pace. And when I do it at home, it takes a little while because I'll have one set here, only because and my friend helped me build a table that's similar to the ones we have at work, which is like right behind me here. So I'll have the sets on there, but I have to change it. I don't like too much space. So, and right now I've kind of got a system where I have the camera facing down, and so I'm doing some down shooter stuff for a music video. So, yeah, it's an experiment when I'm at home, but it's more controlled at work. So.
No, that's really cool that even though you're working on different projects, you still get to meet other animators. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really awesome.
I get to even meet like celebrities that come in and do the voices. So they'll give tours of like really cool people. So,
Cool.
yeah, I can't like say like, too many things because I think, but it's really neat. Obviously Seth Green's there and he'll come around.
I love Seth Green. He's really cool.
Yeah, he's really nice. Just in case anyone that wants to know, he's really nice. But yeah, Donald Faison comes around. He's from Scrubs, and yeah, he's awesome. Just goofy people are always coming around.
Now, when you started this, of course, it's got to be different from because you said that you do freelance. You did freelancing for a while first, and then you went to try to do Robot Chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't. I know, and I'll actually talk about that later. But there was a question here. If you had any advice, Stylist Specs, he asked, what advice would you give someone who wants to work in the entertainment industry but is wary due to nightmarish stories that are everywhere? Were you worried about that at all? I mean, I know it's probably a little bit different because you're an animator, But
Oh no.
was there?
Yeah, I actually hated being an assistant when I was at Robot Chicken.
Oh,
Like
really?
I had like such a bad time. I mean, I had a lot of fun, but I also like didn't understand why people were cranky and uh, just kind of this weird attitude some people had. I mean, it's a lot of work, and like I wasn't getting paid that much. Like I left Mr. Pickles to work on that, and so it was kind of like a downgrade, but I knew it would take me somewhere better eventually. But it was really hard, and a lot of people suck, but you just focus on what you want and you'll get it, and you just keep working hard and stay positive and be nice to people because that really helps a lot too. Just being a positive person and believing in yourself and surrounding yourself with other nice people. Um, but I can't lie and say things are hard. And there are horror stories of just jerks and people that want to put you down. And, there's still people now that it's kind of weird running into, but I don't know. That's just, I feel like every industry kind of has that.
Yeah, you're always
But
gonna have those. Don't let the horror stories scare you away from something that you really want.
yeah. And, but I feel like the stop motion community is pretty small. Even the animation community is pretty small, and so a lot of people know each other, and people will have your back. So um, don't let that hold you back. That's your thing. And as far as kind of getting your foot in the door, it was really just like before I got Mr. Pickles, I was really desperate to just do something with cartoons and animation, and I just kind of spent a whole month making a short, like 3-minute video, and it was just, I just was like, I have to have something because I have nothing to show, and that's one of my cartoons on YouTube called Mike. It's really like kind of slow and uh, goofy, but right after I finished that, like a week later, I ran into somebody, and he's like, "We're hiring. Do you have any animation to show?" And I was like, "I just finished something."
Oh
So it's
wow.
like you kind of have to just like make stuff during your, on your own and build kind of like not like so much a resume, but just kind of build a little reel. Just have a few things because I got that job with just three examples of just some kind of crappy animation. So it's possible to get something. It's especially if you're applying to like a new show. It's coming up, and I mean you don't have to like shoot low for that. You can apply at the big things, but it's possible because a lot of people get a chance. And it's really about networking, hanging around people that do the same thing, just kind of being in the same town.
Hmm.
Is I would hang out in Burbank, and that's where like Nickelodeon is and Cartoon Network, and people
Oh,
just eat lunch over there, and it's all you gotta do is just kind of like, huh?
be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, don't be like creep and like eavesdrop, but it's meet and like networking and but more importantly just working on your craft and making good work and yeah, so and
When
never
you
stopping.
when you first started this, was working with what were some things that you that kind of inspired you? Like you said, you always want to work for like a to do animation as when you started, or
Yeah.
what kind of things inspired you?
Um, Gosh, I mean, when I was a kid, it was Calvin and Hobbes was like my biggest inspiration.
Ask me what's
Uh,
in my drink. I'm like,
nice.
it's my
Um,
friend. Jim's my friend.
cheers.
Thank you.
Um, but yeah, Calvin and Hobbes is like probably my biggest inspiration as like a kid. But as far as like claymations and stuff, it was Kablam, which was a show in the '90s that had some stop motion in it. Celebrity Deathmatch was really
Oh yeah.
big. Um, Gosh, I mean, there's so many, but just a lot of those like really goofy, demented ones I really liked. Um, and I don't think it was anything that got me like too inspired. I remember
Yeah. Because
I
I
I
know. Oh, go ahead.
I moved away from Arizona to like come out here and like do animation, and I actually wanted to work for Robot Chicken like years before I even like knew I had a chance. So, and I actually reached out to somebody who worked for Robot Chicken. And I was like, "Hey, how'd you get that job?" And she was like, "I went to school and studied for animation." So it was just kind of like, just
So
like a
that
basic like good answer, but it's just kind of like it's not really like how do you get to it, and so that's like a really hard thing to answer. Is like how do you literally get there? And it's like, well, you just keep doing it, struggle, and but you'll do it. But it was inspiring just seeing people have that, kind of like, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. Um, I mean, why not? I don't know. I'm here.
Yeah, you didn't
Just
go
try.
to school for animation, did you? I know that you do artwork too. I mean, you do the digital art. I saw a couple of your videos where you show kind of the stuff that you do. Because you don't do strictly just toy animation.
Hmm. Yeah, I do a lot
Did
of
you
like
go to school for any of
2D.
that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I went to school for a little bit for classic like 2D animation, um, and that was fun. I still have like my hand drawn like animation reel where it's like we're taking the picture, on like just white paper. So it's on VHS. So
No,
it's fun.
VHS.
And
You
it's
were
like it's
straight
not like
old school with that
I
one. You
know,
said VHS.
but it's like not even that long ago. It's like that was probably like 2006 or seven. So it's
For
like
VHS?
like at my work we had VHS. Like
Oh,
I mean
wow.
at the school, like the school had like such crappy old equipment, but also like the animation is like it was they were really trying to get you like the old school like feel. So it was like paper
Oh
click.
my gosh, that's so funny.
And I did like a little bit of graphic design, but I didn't go to school for stop motion. So it was just like all kind of self-taught. But then again, it's a lot of same animation principles. I've actually working at Robot Chicken has helped my cartoon drawing animation better because
Oh, really?
I'm like, oh, I've been able to like figure out things like, oh, that makes sense, having the character, like a character running, figuring out like a walk cycle because a walk cycle is like
Yeah.
really hard to do. So being able to like see it physically and then like kind of draw it similar kind of like makes sense. I don't know. Some things just kind of click. I don't know.
That's really cool. No, because like I've always wanted to draw, but I'm not really good at drawing. Never went to school. I'm sure if I went to school for it, I could get it because it's something I like. I love art, but I can't. That's why I do toy photography because I can't draw. So just knowing that that kind of clicks over to where you can actually see it in a 2D form. That's
Hmm.
pretty cool. That you can like cross. Like you can even if you haven't been working on your drawing. You working on your animation through toy, through for stop motion is
Hmm.
actually helping you improve your artistic, abilities, without even touching it. So that's really
Yeah,
cool to know.
it's
And the
neat.
fact that you
Yeah.
haven't gone to school, I mean, a lot of people can't afford that.
No.
You came from Arizona and decided to just go to California. A lot of people do that, and it's a
I
big
know.
step. I mean, you have Arizona, and then you go to California, and the cost of living is ridiculous, so it's a
Yeah.
big step, and it's really inspiring for somebody who didn't go to school for stop motion to be working for Robot Chicken
Hmm.
and coming from a place like Arizona and then just deciding this is what you want to do. That's really
Yeah.
inspiring for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Totally.
I mean, it's definitely inspiring for me. Um so what was my next question? Let me see if somebody else had a question while I try to remember it.
Sure.
I know I saw a few of them on here. No, it is specific. Somebody, so when you went out there, like somebody asked, I don't know if like how, he asked how much. I don't know if he can ask that, but it doesn't hurt. He still wanted to know about how much did you make from the working now. Is it you live off of this, right? This is your like main.
Yeah, for Robot Chicken, I'm able to, live off of Robot Chicken. So, but the only thing that's like a downside with kind of doing stop motion and working for studios kind of like that is it's not a permanent job. Like I'll have a contract for like 6, 7 months and then I'll be out of work for like a couple months and then a project will pop up after that, and then hopefully I can get on that. But like the end of last year, I didn't work for like 4 months. So it's just kind of, there's a lot of breaks sometimes. It can be like really hard. And so like when a show's over, like all these people that were kind of your friends are now like competition, like we all need a job.
Yeah.
but but it is, you can still find work that can keep you going for a long time. So it's, I'm the robot chicken is able to, help me live, but I'm not like crazy. I can't do crazy stuff. I can't like live this like lavish life. It's
Yeah.
LA is really expensive, and I'm still kind of like low on the food chain at the job. But it's definitely something you can do, and you can get better hopefully. So, but I do know there's some older guys who've like worked on shows in the 80s. They're still kind of, they had rates back then that were just like insane, and now it's just like just not the same. So stop motion's kind of hard to work in, but if you can do like commercials and stuff like that, there's really good money in commercial work. Like I've got friends who just do that freelance, and they live pretty good. So it's cool. There's ways to do it. So it's I'm having fun right now, and yeah. So
I'm going to read a few comments that we got.
Sure.
We got Sour Demons. He says he's learned a lot from you, seeing sets as an assistant.
Yep,
So,
I know that guy. He's a good guy.
You're a beast,
Christian.
dude, and you do the best fight scenes, which I've seen. I saw the last one. I think the last video that I saw, I think it was the last video you did, maybe the one with Broly.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
I like that one a lot. That was really cool. Like I can totally see that, like when it comes to those scenes, you why it's so fun for you, because you do so well with it. Especially like those blow up scenes. I really like those ones. I really like that one that I posted. I thought the last video that I posted was really funny just because it did touch on a subject. Like you obviously know who that person is. Like you know who that guy is. So I think that's really cool. Oh my gosh. Is that him? That is funny. I come to the next question. Somebody asked, do you work with claymation?
Yeah, I do a lot. And a lot of my earlier stuff was clay. Like before I kind of did the toys, it was like just clay. It's kind of messy, and a lot of stuff was like pretty janky back then, but yeah, I love clay so much. I think I just haven't had any funky ideas to do with it. Like I've got some stuff I want to do, but a lot of my I've done like a lot of music videos with like clay. But now since like kind of have a better understanding of puppets, it'll be like a clay head and then like a armature body. But I still have like some characters from Vine. Like this guy was clay.
Oh wow! How cute is that? That thing is adorable. And that moves around and stuff, or is it like a?
I mean, like a little bit. I gotta be like gentle, but this was my friend. He created this character as this goon hauler, and he does like a lot of stuff like Paul Frank and like the Aquabats. He's a really cool dude. So this is kind of like his big character he wears in a costume, and then this guy was a really funny gorilla. And he'd like wear a suit. His name is Silvio. So I'm trying to like preserve some of these like clay dudes, but yeah, it's really neat. I've been wanting to do stuff lately, but yeah, it just takes some time.
And because you said, like you said, you're working. You need to make money. You need to make a living. So when you're working with with Robot Chicken, you do have to put these things to the side for a while. But I have a friend. He does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of TikTok. His name is JJ Space Ghost. But he's like straight. He reminds me of like a Blue's Clues, the guy from Blue's Clues. But he's like really wholesome. Like I really like how he he's just like he's got that like vibe with his whole profile, and what he's trying to do is like he influenced a lot of people on there. It's like only 18 plus. But he's trying to get into stop motion because he wants to make, do little videos on there. And but he only has his phone, and it's strictly just to, kind of his goal isn't to make money. his goal is to, people accept donations on there. He kind of goes against it, but he does accept them.
Hmm.
But he doesn't try to get people to do it. He pretty
Sure.
much wants to spread, just have a positive, just help people be positive, especially when it comes to kids. There's a lot of bad influences going around, and we get
Hmm.
kids on there who make the weirdest comments, and it's like, and he's trying to, encourage something more. And but he wants to do stop motion, but he's, of course, does not have, the finances to do so, but he does have of his phone. Is there any, and he has like little characters that he's been making that he draws and stuff like that. Do you have any advice for somebody who's doing this, who wants to just kind of do it? He's doing everything on his phone, like I said. To any kind of advice for somebody who's doing that, whether it's, framework, or, just using your phone, or anything that you think might be helpful for him?
A lot of stuff that was really popular when I would do it on a phone was like if he's doing paper, like drawings or stuff like that, if you can show an element of real life, like if you're doing stop motion stuff, you can go in a coffee shop and animate a character in front of your phone, and then you'll see all the people in the background. It's just kind of adds this kind of it makes it real, because sometimes people will see animation and they're like, oh, that was on a computer. So if you add this kind of weird element of like, this is hand drawn, like people really enjoy that. But I would say just keep doing it on your phone. I mean, that's what I did for 2 or 3 years, just only on the phone. And I mean, I had an iPad, didn't even have an iPhone. So there's even like webcams before that is what I was doing. And I really enjoy like the raw type of style, and it kind of helps you learn a little bit, not like a little bit more, but I feel like if you're learning in such like a minimal way, when you do get kind of better equipment, you kind of have these really like good techniques already imprinted in you, and so you kind of use the simple things, but you're still it's kind of complementing with the digital. So
like even like just drawing the background instead of having a diorama, and then just having the figure instead, like stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, putting in, it doesn't have to be flashy, but just putting like extra elements can definitely like sell the set. Like just a green floor and a blue back. That's like outside. Or just really simple stuff. Clay. A lot of things were like clay. Just you can make a lot of cool props, early settings, and you can even go small with the iPhone. All my things were like, the stage was just small on a table. So it's working on a small scale. You can do a lot of big things. Like you can have big monsters, big explosions, and so you're not worried about these like gigantic sets. So it's really kind of, you're like limitless if you work tiny. So.
Now, when it comes to like, so the video that I did, do you remember the first video that I posted on my profile, the one where you had that, the bike, the kid on the bike that just like crashed?
Yeah,
How
so
long did that
that's
take
the
you to do?
nerd. How long did that take me? So that's the famous like nerd character. He's like the mascot,
Yeah.
Robot Chicken, and
Yeah, I know.
that was the it was like the finale episode, and basically like right before that, the nerd like hits this big mega ramp, like kind of like Evil Knievel, and like jumps off it. He jumps over this big canyon, and he's naked, and so like body parts are flopping around, and then he like lands, and then that's when he goes, I did it, and then crashes into the taco truck or ice cream truck, and it just explodes. So that scene probably took, it was either like a day or a day and a half. It wasn't like too long, but what took a long time was I had to do a camera move with it, I think, and the character. If you're having a character in the air, he's on like a wire on a rig. You kind of like keep him in the air. You'll have to take a second exposure with the camera. So it's like, I'll have the character in the air, remove him, take another picture, get him back in there. So I had to like all these like little technical things. Kind of took a while for the character, and then the explosion was all cotton balls, and so it's just kind of like
Yeah.
frame by frame, just moving them up and kind of dissipating them, and then all the body parts kind of falling. So the video that I posted was like the raw, unedited version. So you can
Oh,
kind of see
really?
like you'll see like an arm fall down, and it's like the black wires attached to it. So
I didn't even notice that. I have to go back and look at it.
yeah, I don't. I think the one I'm sure on TV they probably even added like a digital explosion in front of it too. But I just wanted to show off that just the
No, it looks
cotton. So,
great without it. I mean, I could imagine the edited version looks like spectacular, but I mean, it
mhm.
looks really good without it. I got to go back and watch it now because now that you pointed out, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it just looks like I mean it's
yeah.
just like a long piece that like falls on the side, so it's nothing crazy.
um, so when you do that, when you have the wire, do you have to like go back and erase the wire every single time? Is that
I mean when I do it for my own projects, I have to like go in and digitally erase everything, but we have a whole visual effects department that does that, so they get paid
okay?
they
Oh,
get
so
paid
you don't
pretty
even
well
have
to do
to
that.
worry about that. They'll just go ahead and do it for you.
I mean, I I don't like have to not like worry
But
about it. I
when
still
you
try
do
and
your
like
own work, though, I mean, when you do your
yeah.
own work, you do the same thing, or do you hide those wires and stuff?
A lot of times I'll try and hide the wires within the set somehow, like kind of behind it, like have something here and a wire just like really behind it and kind of cheat the angle. But
Hmm.
if the camera's stationary and there's something moving around, it's easy to just frame by frame erase the wire in like Premiere or After Effects. The studio uses pretty good programs. They use After Effects, and so we're the animators are constantly keep trying to be aware of not crossing a wire in front of another character, or not like getting it next to like a character that has like hair or something
Yeah.
really weird, or like getting by like a tree. So um, it's definitely a team effort, but doing it on my own, it's some scenes. It's like I'm like, hey, I'm done filming. Now I gotta like remove all those things, and then
I tried doing that one time, and
it's
of course, I didn't know any techniques or anything. So I filmed this thing, and I realized I have to go through every single frame because I do it on my phone, so it has
mhm.
those options to erase something.
Oh
But
well.
then I have like lighting differences that I don't know
Hmm.
how it happened because when I move the characters, the lighting changes because the focus changes because it's
Yeah.
on my phone, which has an automatic focus, which
Hmm.
does change how dark certain places are. So I found that really difficult. So it's probably better to just hide the stands as much as possible. Which in toy
Hmm.
photography, this is a toy photography account. There's a style called ACBA, which is articulated comic book art, where they try to get away from using effects.
Hmm.
So when that kind of photography and I love their style. It's something I highly respect. They want everything to be tangible. So when you see it in person, that it looks like you would on a camera. And I know people. His name's The Amazing, who's one of my favorite people who do this kind of stuff. When you see his photos, they're really great. But when you see his videos, it's the stands are in such a way where you like with your stop motion, you don't even notice that the stands are there because the work is so good.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like they kind of go towards that. So when you do it, you do keep in mind with the stands and try to make it so you don't see them in your shot, so you don't have to do so much editing.
Yeah, that's like so much easier sometimes. I mean, for me, it's more satisfying like having a video where I can like cheat and kind of sneak it in. But sometimes it's hard to get away with it. But if like I have a little character like throwing something, um, I'll just try my hardest to like not put a wire in there because
Hmm.
especially if there's I can like stick it. You can cheat it by putting it somewhere really far away. Like
Yeah.
if I have a character throwing something past another character, it'll be like one frame in the hand, and then one frame on the character's cheek, and then somewhere over here. So
Oh,
it's like
that's
that.
smart.
So you can kind of just like do little stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, but nobody ever catches it because you're so focused
Yeah.
on the storyline. It's like
Hmm.
that's really great. And keeping
Yeah.
that stuff kind of in mind. Um, what was I gonna say? There's another thing I was gonna say too. Let me see if we have more questions. Dude, oh, oh no, of course he's getting all the attention. He's the star of the show right now. But no, I think I have very much respect for what he does. So there's very much admiration in this interaction for sure. Um,
Cool.
so now, what was my next question? There was one other one that I had. So what are you working on now? After you're done, you have a project that you're doing with the Robot Chicken right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Robot Chicken will be ending probably the end of July or August. I might try and I'm not sure if I have a break after that. There's another show coming up, I think in November. I can't talk about it though, but it's gonna be pretty cool.
I
Um,
noticed that happens a lot. Like when I talk to people who are doing, stuff for different shows and stuff, there's stuff that they definitely cannot talk about.
mhm.
Um, I have a question for that too, but go ahead and finish what you're saying.
No, but yeah, this little interview and is definitely inspiring me to get the next Toys vs. Toys finished. So
Oh,
I'm
good.
gonna try and do that. It's really ambitious though. It's like I want to do some really neat stuff, and it's just I'm trying to cram in some good story and make things make sense. But I'm also working on a music video for some friends back in Arizona. Their band is called Captain Squeegee. They're really cool, like psychedelic, funky jazz
That's really
with like
cool. So
trumpets
you're
and
gonna do
stuff.
like a
So
music video for them. That is
yeah,
really
this will
awesome.
this will be I think my third video for them. So I've done some stuff in the past. Like one of my claymations on the video. I should be on one of my playlists, but not like under my account.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't see that any of that on your YouTube. If people wanted to see that, where would they go?
so one of my like first big claymation videos. Like if you like claymation, you'll like this. It's called Inevitable, and it's by Captain Squeegee. So you can find it on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of a apocalyptic clay time traveling adventure. Like it starts with like the creation of like animals and life, dinosaurs, and then kind of goes through all these apocalyptic events like the Black Plague and
And
um,
this is all claymation.
yeah, it's like all claymation and like the band members are like in it, and then there's monsters and aliens, and it's wacky. It's the animation's kind of I've gotten better since then, but it's really cool. It's just fun to watch. It's like also 5 minutes long, 4.5 minutes, something like that. But
Uh-huh.
um, so yeah, it's really fun. They're a really cool band. They kind of let me do anything. So that's kind of one of my first kind of big free projects. They're like, just here's a song, do whatever. So I'm kind of doing that right now with another new song that they're experimenting with. And I'm trying to do some cool experimental animation, like animating liquid and sort of like vegetable oil and food coloring and just
What?
weird stuff.
Animating liquid? No, I have to. And you're gonna post
I
this on
mean,
your YouTube, right? Like this is kind of stuff that you're gonna work on for your. And I want to see this. I definitely want to.
yeah, I mean, they want the videos. I'm trying to get done by like July. They want it real soon, so I'm working on that right now. It's like kind of everything's just like a mess. I've got like a fish tank right here. I'm trying to like fill it up and do some stuff. Like I don't know. They're just letting me get weird. So
I have to say bye, my friend Estella Specs. I love
okay,
you. Thank you for coming in.
goodbye.
Yeah, it's from you from TikTok. Like I met a lot of people on there. Like you said, when with Vine, I've met a lot of people that I've become really good friends with, and the fact that they even came on here, like none of my real friends ever, like not real friends, but I consider them real friends. But like the people
I
I know in
know.
person, they don't go on here and watch my videos. So it means so much to me that he's here. It's really awesome. But it's kind of like what you said with like the Vine and like like I interact with a lot of people, so
Hmm.
it's really cool. Like that kind
Yeah,
of support.
I still
But
keep in contact with a lot of them, so they're good friends.
that's really cool. So I saw a thing too that you did. Simpsons. Did you do like the opening scene on there? I saw something on. I looked something up and it popped
Yeah,
to like
very small,
episode.
like a very small thing. I kind of had to
Doesn't matter how. Yes, so very
like,
small. So
yeah.
what? I don't care
I
if
mean,
it's
it was
small. It's
only
small.
like 6 seconds of animation, so it's like really
Oh,
small.
really? So
Yeah.
how? What was it? What did you do?
So it was one of the opening couch gags, and it was a
That's what I figured.
collaboration. Yeah, it was a collaboration with Robot Chicken, and basically the couch gag is the family's in their room and they notice their painting is missing, and then Homer's like, "I'm gonna go look for it." And they're like, "Careful!" And he like leaves a 2D animated set, like the camera like shifts and shows him like jumping off that set, and he goes onto the set of like South Park. And so
Okay.
the part I did is like the South Park characters, they're bouncing around like cursing. It's all like bleeped out, and then they kind of like stop and look at Homer, and then Homer's like, "Oh, you yeah, kids being kids." He just says something kind of like snarky,
Yeah.
um, and then just kind of walks off. But there was like kind of two scenes with just the South Park kids talking with Homer, and so I didn't do anything with Homer because he was digitally added on top.
Hmm.
But the South Park was like they were like paper cut out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they were kind of like propped up and not flat like the actual show. But
Yeah.
so I just animated just little characters, like being like, "Nah," just being South Park characters.
That's really
Yeah, and then Homer goes in like another set. And he's with the California Raisins, and then eventually he sees the nerd, and then he runs through all the sets back to the cartoon set. So I just did that one little thing, but I really wanted to just be a part of The Simpsons.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like the fact that you were even doing
And
the 6 second thing, that's like awesome to even just be a part of. The Simpsons is huge. So,
yeah,
and was that the only one? Was it there one other one I thought I saw?
with The Simpsons, I don't think so. I mean, the studio has done a few things with The Simpsons. They've done like a whole parody, um, but I think that's like kind of the only thing I've done officially with The Simpsons. So.
Now, when you do stuff like that, like stuff that you do for Robot Chicken and stuff, are those things that you're even allowed to post on your YouTube, or people just have to know what you've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't posted too much because I mean, there's like so many scenes, but I'll try and share. Like the closest thing right now is I've got like an animation reel of like last year, just kind of like my favorite scenes that I did on Robot Chicken, and so
Yeah.
I'm allowed to post those things. It'll be like a copyright notice. It's like this won't play in France, something like that. But I'm still just putting together things that I've worked on, so I don't own it, but I can still share it. So,
Yeah, because it's still
um,
your work, and I know, like you said, like a lot of people, like some people that they even follow you. I know a couple. I actually found out about you because of one of the toy photographers that I like, a Plastication. He had mentioned you on one of his stories, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to start following him. So
cool.
there's people that follow you because they're not just fans of your work, but they're also fans of you. You know what
Well,
I mean? So
it's crazy because I think I started following them, and then it's you kind of engage with each other, and I don't know how he came onto one of my things. I think I just commented on one of his pictures,
mhm.
and then he just kind of like saw my stuff and then shared it. But I didn't start. I don't know. I haven't really reached out to too many like people like Sergeant Bananas. You know
Mhm.
him?
Johnny. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah, I know him.
I don't like. I've never met him, but like I've been following him for like a really long time. And my friend Danny, I think he knows him somehow. So like we kind of. It seems like everybody kind of like knows somebody.
Hmm.
And my friend Danny, his Instagram is called like Lunch Amps, and he is like a crazy toy collector. He'll go. He's like kind of taking me out to like flea markets and showing me kind of what to look for, and he's also kind of hooked me up with a lot of props and a lot of toys that have been in my videos. So he's he's definitely been helping this habit and helping me meet people and just kind of expand this world. So it's really cool knowing other toy people, and I
Well,
want to
I
meet
definitely
more. And
keep in touch. Whenever you do anything new, I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on it. I'd love to have
sweet.
you on again, just to kind of keep people updated, because I know, like like you're, people. if you're going to keep doing this, like I want to know. I'm already a fan now, so I want to know what you've been up to. And now, one thing too, I did want to touch on, because this is a toy collector's site. Your collection. Have you always been a toy collector?
Um, Not like crazy. Like I've always had just like a thing of like collecting. Like I like ever since a kid I started collecting like little like, pins. Like kind of like people now are big on Disney pins. So like I would go to like different cities and just get different pins, and because to me they're like little tiny cartoons. Um, but my toy collection I think just started when I realized I could bring them to life, with animation. And I was like, oh man. But I did have like a lot of toys kind of growing up, like Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles,
I love Ninja
the
Turtles.
classics.
Johnny's a huge Ninja Turtle too. Turtle fan
So,
too. The other
uh,
Johnny, not you, Johnny.
yeah,
The other Johnny.
I know. I already know what you're talking about, but like it's crazy. I think now since technology and the people who are my age are making the toys, they're making them so good. I'm like, man, this is the toy I wanted as a kid, and now I get to have it because I have the money to spend on it, and on top of that, I can animate it and take pictures of it and just be goofy.
You can actually
Um,
play with your toys again, which is not something that people do. Like,
it's
you
silly.
know,
And like, here's a sad story. When I first moved to LA, I was trying to make money and I went to Venice Beach and I had to like, I sold a lot of my old action figures and like, just to, like
I'm
eat
there right now.
food.
I have to get rid of a bunch of my stuff
you
right
know,
now.
it's like sucky, but but some people got some really cool deals of like 70s Star Wars and just like neat stuff. But it was kind of like a bummer letting go of those things, but now I'm able to kind of sometimes get them back, and they're just things. They'll always be there.
Do
And
you
it's
have
just like
anything left from when you had to sell a lot of your stuff? Was there something that you do not like, even just now? Is there something that you refuse to ever let go of? Like, because I have that. Like, I will be living. I will like rather starve to death than sell this toy, which is really sad because I'm totally serious. Is there anything that you have that
mm,
you just absolutely love?
gosh, not on the top of my head. I think like now, I really like my Dragon Ball
I knew you were
collection,
going to say
but
that.
I mean, just because it's been such a neat thing. Like I think I grew up with those like really crappy toys, and so now that the toys are like true to what they could do, it's kind of just like, ah. But no, I'm sure I could think of something, some other
So
time. But
with your toys, so do you mainly collect you use Dragon Ball? Is that your main goal bulk? Because I look behind you right now and I see mostly all Dragon Ball. I see Bulma over there. I see Krillin. I see,
let's see if I can move this.
yeah, I
Um,
see him back there. Is it all Dragon Ball? Most of your toys?
yeah, this whole glass case is just like pretty much the entire collection.
And those are
Like,
all SH Figure Arts, yeah?
I don't have like a lot of the Comic Con ones. I've got like just a couple of them, but those the first Goku Comic Con is like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Is
So
it?
it's yeah, I think I've seen it for like the lowest I've seen is like 2 grand. It's like I'm never gonna have that. I'm never gonna buy it, and I'm not a completionist. I want to have like all the
Yeah.
characters. I want to have like all the characters so I can like legitimately do like a good video and have everyone there. And
You have to open it. Like, how are you going to
so
get that? And if you can't open that,
I
you buy
know,
2,000. You could spend $2,000 on a toy. You do not open that toy.
I know. It is crazy because a lot of the things I have like the value's gone up because they don't make them anymore. But I jumped on it kind of like a couple years after they first started coming out, so I was able to get things pretty quick. And then since like the movie came out, like a lot of stuff was just kind of getting bigger and bigger. So now people are they want them like more. But I just love the show, and I mean it's kind of like a love hate show. Like the show is really silly, and it's got
I
some
love
really dumb stuff. But like
Oh, it's good.
it's true to my heart, and the animation style is like really inspiring, and a lot of my
How'd you like the Broly
cartoons.
movie?
Oh, it was
How'd you
really
like the
fun. Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. Um, and I just got the new Broly and the new Gogeta, so those are gonna be fun to animate eventually. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
Yeah, those ones I don't
yeah,
know.
it's fun.
I kind of would want him to just have him the new Broly. I have the Broly from last Comic Con, and I have two of them because I didn't want to open one of them, but now I'm gonna have. I've been unemployed for the past month, so I think I might have to sell one of them. But I
Oh
haven't.
no.
I know it sucks. I'm still holding on, hoping that I don't have to sell any of my toys. So I have 3 weeks to find out if I have to sell my toys.
Struggle is real.
I'm gonna be crying. Like it's gonna be like heartfelt, like shit. But so like they do have a couple of ones coming out. Did you see the new Goku that's coming out, the kid version Goku? Because I saw
Oh yeah,
you had
with
Kid
the
Goku.
blue. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
So how do you feel about that one?
I mean, I want it just because it's got the extra face, and it's like a face. It's like a
It's
neutral.
just the face? You just want it for the face?
Well, I mean, I love the color. I love the blue. Like that's like such, it's like the first kind of time you see Goku. It's just so goofy. I wish he was like a little bit fatter. That was my only complaint in my toy review. Just because
Yeah,
he's
for
like a
the kid
little like
Goku.
pudgy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Uh,
more but he was pudgier when he was a little kid. I don't remember how he
yeah.
was when he started training, though.
That's
Honestly,
true. That's true. I
he
think when I
he did
see
kind of
like
evolve and change a little bit, but I don't know too
um
much. I've seen like one photo of the new one that's coming out with the blue one. Did you
mhm.
see that one yet? I don't know
Yeah,
if
it
it's
looks
fuzzy on
yeah.
that.
No. It's because it's the exact same toy, but it's just like a recolor.
Okay,
So it's like
yeah,
it's a different color, and I'm sure like I don't know if different logo, but and then I know he's got an extra face. Um, and I'm sure he'll have some other accessory or whatever, but
yeah.
definitely cool. I am going to Comic-Con,
I already
um,
know.
so I'm gonna try and get that. I don't know how hard it is. I've waited in line. Like I went a couple years ago and I got a Star Wars exclusive, and that was a nightmare. But I wanted to do it just to like do it to
So what did you
experience.
get?
It was just Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it was just kind of like came with little like Leia, and she had like her whole speech,
Okay.
like hologram. It was really dumb, but I wanted to just kind of because people sell Comic Con stuff online for so much money, and I didn't
Yeah.
like. I'm like, why? But now I understand. It's like you're literally paying for 5 hours of your time, someone else's time. So
Yeah, it takes a while to get those. I went to New York Comic Con and I'm gonna go for one day at San Diego Comic Con, so I'll probably shoot you a message just so I can say hi and hunt
sweet.
you down. So I'll look out for you. I'm watching it. But yeah, I mean San Diego Comic Con I know is gonna be absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit scared. I'm only going one day, so I'm a little afraid for that one. But like, do you ever go to the New York Comic Con or anything?
No, I haven't been to New York in a couple of years, and I haven't been to the Comic Con at all. I've been to the Phoenix Comic Con, and that's totally low
So this
key
isn't your
fun.
first like big Comic Con, other than the last
No,
time
I
you
mean,
went.
yeah, 2 years ago, that was like the first time I ever went to like a really big con. Like that was my first experience with San Diego Comic Con, and it was insane. So, but really cool. I kind of like know what to expect now, and we'll kind of just kind of be in and out. Kind of like know what to look for. Um, I don't think I'm going to stay the whole time, so I think I might just do like a couple of days because I don't really have a place to stay. So I think I'm just going to go try and get some toys and get out of here.
Yeah.
So,
So do you know what? Because I know that they're slowly releasing what toys. Do you have any toys in mind? Or you said, are you going to try to get the new Goku?
well, yeah, there's 4 Dragon Ball characters they're going to do. There's going to be the new Kid Goku that's blue. There's going to be Adult Gohan. They just gave him the like Super Saiyan hair, and so it's kind of like it's an old sculpt just with
Really?
new hair. So it's a character that they should do the new body on, but they're not.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a lazy thing. Um, and then there is a different Goku Black. I think he's just got like shinier hair or something else, or just like a different paint. And then there's another Golden Frieza that's with the old sculpt from the first release, but looks gold. So I don't really care about those ones, but
Yeah. No, I want the new Goku just because my favorite is Dragon Ball. The
yeah,
original Dragon
it's
Ball is
great.
like my favorite. Like I love the innocence of it, even though
Mm.
I was really shocked that his wiener was out though. I've
Yeah.
never I'm into I watch cartoons. This is the first time. Even Robot Chicken doesn't have any
But we
penis
blur it out,
anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
blurred
blurred
out.
out. They were just like free reign, and this was like a kid thing. I'm like, what the hell just happened here? Like, what am I watching?
It's very innocent in Japan, I guess. So
Yeah, it was a very. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I really like the original. That's my favorite. So
um,
when Super came out, and then they kind of like gave him that playful the playful Gohan that we remember from when he was younger. I was really happy with that. I
mhm.
was really upset with Z because they kind of gave him this whole persona of being this like totally different person, and I'm just like, it was cool, but they really ruined Gohan for one. Like I thought he was
Yeah,
gonna be this massive, great person, like it was
I
gonna like
haven't.
kill shit, and now I
Yeah.
mean, like just be this huge warrior, and then he's like this. What did they do to him? They
It's very. I
domesticated the
know.
shit out of him.
It's very Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But no, I'm also looking forward to. There's the NECA Ninja Turtle set. It's got Splinter and Shredder, and 2 Foot Soldiers. So that looks really cool. And
I
I know
no, I didn't. I
might be
know
hard
that
to get.
I've seen the ones. Is that the 1/4 scale that they're coming out with, or did those already come out? Is that what scale is
No,
that?
yeah, no, they have the big Shredder just came out for 1/4, but they are making a tiny set that's like
Oh,
the 6.5, inch one, just like the
to
one they
go with
release. Yeah, to go with the
with the
other
one
ones.
that
Yeah,
they
yeah, the
released
small.
last year.
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
they're really
I
cool
want
because
that one.
it'd be worth just to have a Splinter. It's like the old like one that looks like from the movies. It looks so
Yeah.
dumb and good.
No, that's like my favorite. I love Splinter. I love Krang. I like
Hmm.
the old set that they have, the collector set where it has Krang in it. It's all, the kind of like animated look more than it does the
Hmm.
movie look. But I
Yeah,
still
I like
I
that.
love Krang. I love I love Splinter and not Splinter, but Shredder. What is
Hmm.
in that pack? You said it's different ones on there. Is it like the 4-pack that they had for the.
Yeah, I think this one's just a 4-pack, and it's got, I think it's Shredder with his like shiny cape. It's called like the capture of Splinter. So it's that scene where they've kind of got him like hanging on the walls, and he's like, "Where's your turtles?" Stupid.
Now I have to
Yeah,
like that. I have to get that one now too.
yeah. But I'm if kind of like if you don't get the Comic Con one, they'll probably release them individually like they did this year.
I was
So.
really mad about that. I was so mad because I
Because did you
need
get
to. I
did you get
want
the
the
Comic Con? Is that
Yeah, because
why?
I got the one from Comic Con, but I had to pay like $175 for it. And then they released these other ones that I could have got for $25 each. I'm like, if I knew this, I would never have opened my freaking big pack because I like
Box
the
is
box
cool.
that came in.
Yeah.
So I was like, still have that collector's mind. I collect Pop Funkos. So I have them in, their original. So I still have that mindset where you're not supposed to take them out of the box. But I like to play with them. So I was like, if I knew that, I would have kept that in the box and then got another one where I could open
Shame.
them. But yeah, I know. So that hopefully they do it with this one, and I'll just keep the box and never open it if
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
sure
do
it'll be a
that.
cool box. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see. All right, so I think it's been a little bit over an hour. I don't want to take too
That's
much of your
cool.
time. Yeah, okay, good. Because I have a tendency of talking a lot. I do this all the time. So it's like and usually it cuts me off about an hour. Instagram usually does that, and it didn't today. So, you
Sweet.
know, yeah. So I appreciate it so much that you came on. It was really a pleasure to talk to you. I hope we can keep in touch. You are a
Totally.
really cool guy. I definitely, anybody who's been a fan of you, I feel like if they see what I saw right now, they'll definitely be even more of a fan of you just because they got to meet you. Yeah, you're really
Cool.
down to the guy. If I go to Comic Con, I will definitely look you up as well. But
Sweet.
anything that you're doing, I'll keep touch. I want to, let people know what you're up to. So
Right on. Well, thanks for sharing all this with everybody, and thank you everyone for asking questions, stuff like that. So, yeah,
all right, bye, you guys. Thank you so much. And when I put
cool.
us on, I'll send it to you too.
All right, cool.
All right,
All
bye,
right.
John. Bye,
See ya.
everybody.
Bye.